right, for this one, we're going to discuss how to do Bento Grids, which are kind of a popular styling right now for a grid style for CSS and Tailwind for a lot of front-end projects. So we're going to copy this code into here. And so as you can see here, it just does it up and down. But when you make it bigger, it styles it in a bento style, which means that some of the grids are wider than others or taller than others. So see how you can see these two ones are wider and these two ones are skinnier. So to do that, let's simplify this for you guys. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of that. So now it's just the bento, and we're going to get rid of the content within it. So you can just see what's happening with the grid. So that got rid of all of it. So we didn't mean to do that. Let's just start from scratch. Okay, so how you do this is you make your div class equals background black, width full, height 100% or whatever, height full. Let's make it height screen. Okay, and now we're going to add some grids here. So div class, and then we're going to make that the parent is going to be a grid, and it's going to be grid. We're not going to make it mobile responsive yet. We're just going to make it grid calls 4 or 2, and then we're going to make a div class equals background white, and then height. So what you need to use here is you need to do grid calls span Tailwind. It's this span thing, grid column. Yeah, so you're trying to build something like this here. So what you do is you build your grid, and let's just build it out here. It's be grid calls 2, grid rows 4. Okay, we made that nice, and then let's add a space 4. It's not space, gap 4. Nice. Now we have our see we have it there. But what we want to do is we want to make it where some of these are larger than others. So we can do that by adding this grid span thing. So call span too. So each column will span. So actually the easier way to do this would be to make it 3 columns and then make it span 2. Okay. So we're going to make grid calls 3. Yeah, you get the idea. And then what we're doing is we're going to do like, we just randomly do this. So we can do like the second one, we're going to make grid or call span 2. Nice. And now we can make this one call span 2. So you get the idea. You get the pattern there. It's you can start building out a Bento grid this way, and we'll make this one call span. Yeah, so you get the idea, and then maybe for this fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, we make it call span 2. Yeah, so that's how it's building out. So you can see how you can make it a kind of an uneven grid there, and then you can add your content into those. You want to add images within there. You want to add text within there. However you want to do it, you can start styling it however you want to do it. So for instance, if we want to make this is our thing here, and then above it, we want to add a hero section. So you want to go Tailwind hero sections. You want to add maybe this as your hero section. So yeah, you get supercharge your web app, and then we got our grid right below it. So that's pretty cool. And then for that one, actually, let's make it border 2, border B844. So yeah, you can see, or maybe make it 8. Yeah, so you can see how you can start styling this out a little bit, and you can add a grid there below it and just kind of mess with it and see what you can do. So this is Bento Grids, and it's done by creating grids and then grid columns, grid rows, and then using the grid call to or call span or row span. So row span or call span. Row span will change the height of your grid here, and call span, which we did here, will change the width. Let's do a row span just to show you what it looks like. We're going to build out a couple more of these things down here. Why is it not doing that? Oh, we want to do this. Why is it not doing that? 1 second. But you got the idea for the columns. I'm just trying to figure out how you get the so we got it here. Let's, if you change this, why is it doing that? It's like it ends at that amount right there. It doesn't want to. It does go lower, but it doesn't show it. So that's interesting. Maybe we make it height full. No, it doesn't like that very much. Maybe we just don't change the height. We just keep it as is. Let's just start over, and we'll check it. We'll do it something different here. We'll make it height. Height of auto maybe, and div class equals background white. So it doesn't like that. If we make it height, hide screen works, but let's just, I think it messed up because this gets messed up sometimes. If we go further down, see, it only does the height of the screen. That's why it only goes the height of the screen. So we want it to go all the way down. Let's make it height how to make height of div go down in Tailwind. That has height screen. Height full used to work for me. Let's check that out. Height full not working. Let's just make it a height with CSS. So we're going to use, we're going to go back to here, and we're going to make it, instead of height screen, we're going to call it H screen. And it's going to be a class that we use here. We're going to make it H screen. Height equals 4,000 pixels, maybe. Yeah, that works really nicely. And we can actually make these divs fit in there. So why is it just doing that? That's so odd. Let's get rid of that. Okay, that's great. Let's see if we make that height of screen. Let's make it 2,000 pixels. $3,000 pixels? 2,000 pixels. 1,000 pixel? Yeah. 1,000 pixels right there. That should be good. So that's as far down as it goes. If we made it 2,000 pixels, it goes down even farther. You gotta play around with this. So if we made it, let's see if we make it 4,000 pixels. So you can actually set the height of these to a specific thing. So keep that at 4,000. Height 20, width 20. Doesn't like that. Yeah, there we go. You have to change. You have to mess around with it a little bit. So there, that looks pretty good. And now we can copy. So you just play around with this. They're all spaced out now. Let's see if we can make it so grid calls 3. So it's 3. And then grid rows 4. If we made it grid rows nothing, it might space it out evenly. Let's check it out. And it still goes all the way down there, and that's because, why is that? Anyways, what we can do is, let's just go back and just show you how you do this with regular. So 1,000, and then get this where it is, we don't define it here. Grid rows 4. Okay, you get the idea there, but now let's show you how you can make the Bento grid with the columns. So you actually are changing the rows. So you make it. This would be grid rows span or rows span 2. See, and it changes it right there, which is really nice. So you can you can mess around with it, and you can make this row span 2. That's row span 2, and then you can make maybe this one call span 2. So that's how you start building the Bento grid right there, and it starts looking really nice. You know, you can mess around with it, maybe change this one to call span 2. And so you start building it out, and you can create these kind of uneven grids and then fill them how you want to fill them with your content. So you want to go into this one and say H1 content and class equals text 4XL, font bold, text center, PT8 underline. And so yeah, you can just add those to each one of your divs, mess around with it, kind of play around with it. Yeah, so you can just start playing around with it, and it's interesting. And like I said, you got to mess around with it sometimes because sometimes it can be finicky, but you get the idea of how to build the Bento grid here. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions, and we can go over kind of the height issues with height and width and how to fit that and how to fit everything in there. I'll still be playing around with it because I still haven't figured it all out yet either, but this is kind of how you do that. So yeah.